Chapter 2 is my favorite chapter because of the good seasons and memories I have with it, especially making Trapped Housing creative and meaning series decks. We're not here to reminisce about Chapter 2. We're here to talk about the... Wait, what are you doing? Don't leave! Anyways, back to what I was saying. We're here to talk about the weapons, and that's why we're going to rank it. And before we do that, we're going to speedrun the rules. No ultimate excuses, collaborations, no ultimate excuses are allowed. No pickaxe and no chapter 1 weapons that 1 reworks or have higher low reactions are allowed. I've done it. What the... stop cutting me! Anyways, let's get to this. But before that, I want to talk about honorable mention. It's about the dual silent pistols. And I know that's an LTM exclusive, but I actually got to use it, and it's in creative as well. So let's talk about it. It's good as the dualies but suppressed, and yeah, that's basically it. And let's finally get to this. At 91st place, it's the rusty can. It's the pickaxe, but you can throw it. But you can't farm materials with it. Fishing them and getting this is a big one. No one's gonna ever pick this up either. I'd rather use a pickaxe. At 90th is the lump of coal. At 89th is the paperborn Q9. And at 80th is the makeshift. Might be surprising to see a Chapter 2 Season 6 weapon not in Mars. But yeah, this bow is well ranged and does have a fast reload time. But 50 damage and a 2x headshot multiplier being served with that is not going to help me in a BR situation. At 87th is the Firefly Jar. At 86th is the Recycler. And at 85th and 84th place is the makeshift revolver and the primal pistol. The revolver is inaccurate and does like 50 damage. It's so unusable, and you can't really use it in any other situation unless you're really good with this. And the pistol is better because of the fact that it's a 2-round burst, so you can do 88 damage. But other than that, it's the same as the revolver, so yeah. At 83rd is the makeshift assault rifle. At 82nd is the dual field hunters. At 81st is the proximity mines. And at 80th and 79th, it's the primal and mechanical bows. Both of them have the exact same stats and do the exact same things. So it's doing 75 to the body and 188 to the head, which is good. But I like the mechanical bow higher than the primal bow because it looks sleeker and it has better upgrades when you upgrade it. At 70th place is the Marksman 6-shooter, and this one's quite interesting. This thing does like 24 damage to the body, which is less than even the green normal 6-shooter that released in like Season 6. And you call this a revolver? That's terrible, but the headshot kind of makes up for it. I mean, it does like 96 damage, but you're barely going to hit a headshot, so you're going to be quite skilled to use it effectively. And since I barely get plat in ranked without carrying, meaning I'm very, very trash at the game, it gets here. At 77th to 72nd place is the lever action rifle, Nighthawk, sideways rifle, and scythe, first of all the blaster, and the Dragon Breath shotgun. This thing does a massive amount of damage, doing around 150, 160 to the body, which is like one pellet. Has terrible range, like the range of shotty, and has a 5 to 6 second reload time, which is really slow, and you probably lose in a box fight if you really have this. At 71st, it's the Harpoon gun, which isn't really a weapon, but I rank it anyway. It does like 75 damage and pulls a play to you, which could be good when you combo it with a shotgun. And you can also use it to fish faster, which is a cool addition as well. At 70th place, it's the makeshift shotgun. And you might think I ranked this a little bit too high, but if you just use it like a normal pump, you can actually make it usable. And since I can do that effectively, then it gets slightly higher than it should be. At 69th, it's the Primal Flame Bow. At 68th, it's Wolverine's Claws. At 67th and 66th, it's the Scoped AR. At 65th, it's the Black Panther's Kinetic Armor. And at 64th, it's the Beam Sniper. This is one of the worst snipers of all time, doing 10 damage to the body and 25 to the head. But the Kling adds like an additional 75 damage, so it makes it better. Other than that, it's just your average heavy sniper. At 63rd, it's the makeshift SMG. At 62nd, it's the primary AR. At 61st, it's the E11 blaster, but only the Chapter 2 through 5 versions. At 60th, it's the primal stink bow, and at 59th, it's the primal shotgun. This thing used to be goated, but now it's basically mid. So yeah, and it's all because it got nerfed. Like basically everything! At 58th, it's the burst quad launcher. At 57th, it's the Venom Smash and Grab. And at 56th, it's the Dub Shotgun. And some people actually think it's good, but Epic removed this from Reload because it was trash. Bonds. Washed. It's an exotic shotgun that pushes you away from your target. It's just like a double barrel shotgun, but exotic, has terrible range. It pushes you like an impulse grenade. So if you shoot it from 100 meters before you fall to the ground, you die to 4 damage. So yeah. At 55th, it's the Carnage and Venom symbiote, and at 54th, it's TNT and its Kaboom Bow. It's a worse Boom Bow that has limited uses a little, because when you use it in like a free-for-all, yep, you can only use it like 10 times, and you have to wait like an hour to use it again. Also, there's only one on the map, and you have to fight TNT and it just for that. Like, come on. At 53rd place is Deadpool's Duties, and at 52nd is the pistol. This is underrated. It's a solid pistol doing 29 damage in gold and accurate, but it's semi-automatic, and that's the problem. Also, it's not good enough to be high at this point. At 51st place is the Unstable Bow. At 50th is the Storm Scout, and at 49th is the lever action shotgun. It's trash, but I use it like a pump, so I kind of knew how to use it, and I made it good to use. But the shotgun is actually kind of bad. Like, it does the same damage as a pump, but the pull-out time and the weirdness of it makes it bad. At 48th is the grapple bow, and at 47th is the flare gun. And this might be a weird one. It does 60 damage if you use it as a weapon, and I think you only get one use with it. But it also has a recon effect, so it makes it more usable. Also, just so you know, that I don't rank weapons because of how they perform against players. I also rank them for like the other special abilities that benefit players as well, in other ways. At 46th is the plasma cannon, and if you heard what I just said, then you'll see what I put it here. It does like 30 damage, which is trash, but it absolutely annihilates walls that in its way as well. It's 45th is the Chimera Ray gun. At 44th is the Wombat Whistle, but it's actually called the Combat Pistol, but I just like calling it that. And at 43rd is the Mythic Goldfish, and this is the burden to fight in BR. 1 in a million chance of fishing just for this, and a 0.12% chance of finding it in reload. This, I think, one-shots walls and one-shots players. But other than that, it's a rusty can. Literally. At 42nd is George's drum gun. And at 41st is Shadow Madness's drum gun. They're the exact same, and I like the drum gun, but a bit better. At 40th is the Mechanical Explosive Bow, and because I'm too lazy to say the rest one by one, at 39th to 35th, it's the Prime SMG, Force Mayona Strike, She-Hulk's Fists, Dr. Doom's Arcane Gauntlets, and the AK. This is good at doing damage, but that's terrible bloom, and it's hard to aim with as well, so it gets hit, but aside from that, it's well-rounded. At 34th, it's Meowscle's PRPR rifle. At 33rd, it's the Kingsman. At 32nd, it's the Deagle. At 31st, it's the RPG, but only the Grapefruit Blue versions. At 30th, it's the FAMAS, and at 29th, it's the lightsabers. These were broken in Chapter 2, it could have been high on this list, but melee weapons are not my favorite weapon, so it gets hit because of that. They're still good though, nonetheless. At 28th is the Combat AR, and this is great. I love it. It's an SMG-like gun, fire rate-wise, because it has a fire rate of 9. You can easily use it in box fights and spray someone. It'll be like so low. They'll basically be dead. I like everything in the literal universe. It has its disadvantages. You can only make it accurate when you tap fire, and that's kind of annoying, because when you fully order it and ADS, you're cooked because the bullets go everywhere. 27th is the Sideways minigun. It cooks in Golden Mythics, so yeah. At 26th place is the Burst Pulse Rifle, which feels weird to use and does less damage when you ADS than the OG Pulse Rifle, which is annoying. And at 25th is the Mechanical Shockwave Bow, and it's only here because of this movement aspect. Other than that, it's a mid-bow and a mid-weapon. At 24th is the Iron Man Repulsor Gauntlets. At 23rd is Dr. Doom's Mystical Bomb. And at 22nd, 21st, and 20th place, it's a trio of practically the same sniper. And that's the Bolt Action Sniper, the Dragon Breath Sniper, and the Armband Sniper. The Bolt is your average sniper, the Dragon Breath is the same thing, but I think does more damage, and has this fire effect. But fire isn't really useful anymore, so it's kind of useless now, besides being a Bolt Sniper. And the Armband Sniper is the same, but has a melee effect, which pushes you forward. So it kind of has a movement aspect as well, so yeah. At 19th and 18th place, it's the Railgun and the Iron Man melee beams. They're basically the same thing, so I'm going to talk about them simultaneously. They do 90 damage, which is under mid sniper damage, and if someone's hiding behind a rock, get your recon scanner, and bang, they're dead, because they shoot through walls as well. And I cook, so that's why they are here. At 17th and 16th, it's the Charge Shotgun, and I split the rarities because they both function different a little. The Grapefruit Blue version is decent. It does charge up, which is a big letdown. When you know how to use it, it becomes better. Other than that, it's a pump with one less mag. And a purple and gold version is literally the pump, but you charge it.
Actually, it's not exactly the pump. In fact, there's some other difference.
Shut up! Anyways, moving on. At 17th is the pump. You guys will kill me for putting it this low, but at least hear me out. First, it's only the grey and blue versions. It's been heavily nerfed in Chapter 2. The blue bump does, I swear, 160 damage to the head. And the model looks kind of bad. Other than that, it's the exact same thing as the Chapter 1 version. At 14th place is the Rapid Fire, which is an in-box only weapon that sprays so hard. Anything outside of box range and you're cooked. You'll never hit your shots, man. Anyways, at 13th place is Kid's Charge Shotgun. It's a charge, but wait. Okay, that's good. It's the charge, but it's 200 pumps. At 12th is the Mythic Scar. The classic Scar, but more accurate. Higher damage and higher fire rate, that makes it amazing. And 11th is the Hot Block Dualies. They are classic dualies doing the exact same damage, but has the Hot Block effect that gives you low gravity, and it does initiate full damage. But sometimes when you're using a box fight, it kind of hurts you because you go flying when you jump, and you get pumped in midair, which nobody wants, so I have to give it that. At 10th, 9th, and 8th, they're all Orgs, and it's the normal one, Ocean's one, and Sloan's one. The Org overtook the Scars the best they offer all, and it's because it's a 2-round burst, so it's very accurate, and did, I think, 37 damage. Ocean's Org is the same thing, but it does 39, and Sloan's Org is fast and more accurate, but other than that, Ocean's Org as well. At 7th and 6th, it's Sloan's Pulse Rifle and the normal Pulse Rifle, and Stark's Industry Energy Rifle. They're all basically the same, so let's talk about them. The Pulse, including the Mythic one that came on Chapter 2 Season 7, does like 38 damage when you hip fire, and 54 when you ADS, which is crazy. But the Energy Rifle is better, because its hip fire damage is 41, and ADS is 53, and looks cooler too. But both of them also have a disadvantage. It's because of the fact that it's so slow, and yeah, that's it. 5th place is the Hunter Rifle, because it's easy to use, accurate, and so easy to clip people. You can even rage bait 11-year-old little Timmies with it, and make them quit the game. That's how good it is. But you can also be clipped by the same 11-year-old little Timmies. I'm not 11, so don't you dare say that I'm that in the comments, okay? Also, look at my clip montage, and you'll see its potential. At 4th place is the Shadow Tracker. This is also easy to use as well. It's a silent pistol, but it marks people, so it's easier to find people as well. Just hit them once, shockwave to the mark, and combo with a good old pump. It's also fully automatic and has 16 bullets too, so you can use like an SMG sometimes. Best pistol in Chapter 2, but the problem is that it's a pistol, so yeah. At 3rd place is Midas's Drum Gun, but not the Chapter 4 one that's included, nor the Chapter 5 and 6 ones. It does 26 damage with a fire rate of around 10. That means it has a fire rate of around 260, so you can use it like an SMG in boxes. The tip is also very accurate. You can use it like for combat AR and fully auto and beam people as well. At 2nd, it's Brutus's minigun. Spray weapon, box warrior, accurate 2, fully auto minigun. That's all you need to know, because that's how good it is. And finally, at 1st place, it's the Purple and Gold RPG. This thing does 130 damage while being hit scan and absolutely annihilates walls as well. You guys will know how good it is, as well as comboing it with a Sentinel pump when it came back in Chapter 6 for the day. And yeah, that's the list. Sorry for the bad explanations though. Hope you liked the video, and also like and sub, and let's hit 2K. Bye!